I'm just unfortunate. I love coffee with the Goose.
You are the man, Justin. Thank you, buddy. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with the Goose, where we talk about things that are, you know it, interesting, fascinating, and irritating. I'm the Goose, and I'm so happy you joined me again. Got a lot of stuff to cover today. Some, I believe, and we always try to do this, get you information that other people don't. We don't go the easy route. We'll try and think our way through this, right? Anyhow, before we get started, let's have a little sip of Java, shall we? My coffee, as you know, very strong, like my opinion, but got some creamer in there to make it sweet, just like me. Okay, here we go. Again, getting ready for the big fight, and it is a big one. I've been following boxing since, my goodness, early 70s. So I've seen a lot of great fighters, seen a lot of great fights, been admiring Pacquiao for many, many years, and I've seen a few Keith Thurman fights as well. They're great, both of them great champions, and it's an intriguing matchup on July 20th at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. So looking forward to that. Got a prediction show coming up too here pretty quick, so stick with me. We'll see. We'll see what I know. I'm going to get a lot of comments on that, and of course the fight as well. Right now, though, let's talk about the psychology of fighting, of boxing. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Is Thurman afraid of Pacquiao? Well, we don't know. Is Pacquiao afraid of Thurman? Well, we've been saying for a long time, Pacquiao's not afraid of anything. Well, hold on now. Boxers, by their very nature, and if they're honest, they're going to tell you this, they're afraid. Everybody is afraid when they get into the ring. Why? I don't mean fear like they're too afraid to get in there and fight. No. They're warriors, all of them. Why are they afraid? Why is every boxer afraid when they get in the ring? Because they're smart. If you're, it all goes down to the my personal definition of the word respect. Part of respect is fear. You know, you're not going to respect another guy unless you know in the back of your mind there's going to be a price to pay if you step over that line, right? That's true with boxers too. They're all a little bit afraid because it's a very dangerous sport. You know, if you win, you're going to get punched in the mouth, in the head, maybe a couple hundred times. So it's very dangerous, and people have died in the ring. We know that. Matter of fact, I remember the movie, and I can't remember how to pronounce it now. Sorry, Kulafo Kid. The Kulafo Kid, is that it? Jude. What? Kid Kulafo. Okay, thanks. Jude, my wonderful producer. He's 100% Filipino. I'm only 99%. But yeah, great movie. If you haven't watched it, you want to know the background of Manny Pacquiao and what his foundation is, check that out. It's I think it's free on Netflix. But one of his friends died in the ring right before he fought. So I mean, Pacquiao knows it. It's a very dangerous sport. So let's talk about the mindset, what boxers are thinking of when they get in the ring. We all like to, make our own judgments. Well, he's afraid, or he's intimidating. In many cases, that's obvious. I mean, you look at Mike Tyson. I was afraid, even though I was watching him on TV. I'm like, this guy's terrifying, and he hurt people bad. And you know what? His opponents knew it. They had fear, and but in most other cases, you can't really tell who is. And again, everybody has a little fear, but it's hard to tell whose fear is compromising their skill or their game plan or, their focus. It's really hard to judge. I've done a little bit of research on this. First of all, when they get in the ring, and you've heard me talk about this before, when Pacquiao walks from the dressing room to the ring and he's all smiles, high fives, that Filipino lovability, right? It's Manny. But when he gets in the ring, that smile's all gone. He knows it's all business. When you see two fighters standing toe-to-toe, the referee's saying, okay, no hitting below the belt, blah, 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 touch gloves, and one of them smiling, he's afraid. He's not confident at all. So that's one little tip for you. Now, what about Pacquiao and Thurman? Don't forget, these guys are both world-class athletes, top-of-the-line fighters, world champions. It's kind of like when you see a great athlete in any sport in high school. Oh, well, they're in the NBA. They're going to the NFL. No, they're not. There's a couple more steps they have to pass. Some of these great athletes go into college and everyone else is great. And then again, it gets even more pronounced when they get into the pros. They realize all these guys are at least as good as I am. So it's more than just the physical competition. It's mental. You have to prepare yourself mentally before you get into your competition, especially when it's a warrior fight and your life may be on the line. So how do these people prepare themselves psychologically? You need to have smart people training you, of course. You have to train your brain. And bear with me on this. I'll try and explain this. You have to train your brain, and these guys train for several weeks, maybe a month and a half before, maybe 2 months before their fight. They train their brain to envision the scenarios that they're going to encounter in the ring. Why? That way, when they get in the ring and they see these things unfold in front of them, they're used to it. They've seen it before. They're comfortable with it. They'll know how to react to it. They won't be surprised. And another thing you need to look for, or should pay attention to, is those guys, or women for that matter, and the women boxers in MMA, the ones who are really, really ready, physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, they're excited before the fight. The days leading up to the fight, they are jacked. They are ready. They're all smiles. They're very excited, and they don't want to let their emotions show too much. It's a mind game with their opponent. So, but that's one thing you should keep an eye on. There are 3 keys to preparing yourself psychologically for fighting. These are all critical components to an athlete, I guess maybe in any sport, but especially in boxing with the Thurman and Pacquiao fight coming up. 3 keys to a successful fight psychologically. The first one, of course, you have to be self-confident. You can't go in there doubting yourself because it'll all fall apart. You have to be self-confident, not to the extreme, of course. Arrogance has no place in it, but you got to be confident in your ability to succeed. The second thing, I think I touched on this a minute ago, visualization. Your trainer, your team has to prepare you to visualize so you're not surprised when things happen. You have to see tapes of your opponent. You have to have some experience, obviously, but you have to envision not just what your opponent's going to do, but what you are going to do. It's all training your brain. And the third thing, and this is very, very important, and it's easy to screw this up, that's focus. And there's more to it than just saying focus. You need to stay focused on your task at hand, because if you're in the ring and your focus wanders a little bit, oh, that pretty ring girl carrying that card around, or the celebrities at ringside, or the judges, or the referee, or anything else that's not going to help you, you're going to fall short. You need to focus and have it focused on the proper things. Your game plan, focus on the fight and your opponent in front of you. So it's the mental game is so important, at least as important as the physical game. Don't forget, these guys they're all good. When you especially pay-per-view, you're going to lay down a few bucks and watch these guys fight. And it's going to be a great undercard, by the way. Any Pacquiao fight, you're going to see other championship fights. And we'll get into that at our preview, our prediction show. They're all champions. They're all great fighters. That's why they're there. So you have to, as a fighter, you have to get the extra edge. You have to push a little more. Those who take that extra step and commit themselves just a little bit more are the ones who end up being Hall of Famers, like Manny Pacquiao, and like many of the Hall of Famers he's defeated. And you never know. Keith Thurman might end up being one of those guys too. Going to be a great fight. Going to be exciting. I'm still working on this prediction. I don't like to predict many things, but I think I've got a pretty good idea of what's going to unfold, what to expect in this fight. Again, it's coming up on July 20th at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas. We'll have a prediction show coming up just a few days before the fight. And of course, the night of the fight, we'll have live stream, immediate reaction, review of the fight, preview rather, and review. And it's going to be so exciting. So stick with us. I don't brag, because that gets you nowhere. But I'd like to think I and my producer Jude do our homework, and we look at things from a realistic point of view, with setting aside all the emotions, all the rumors, all the gossip, all that BS. We don't deal in BS here. We deal in real life, okay? So anyhow, that's it for this edition of Coffee with the Goose. Thank you so much for watching, and many, many thanks to all you folks who subscribe. Stick with us. It's going to be fun. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.